All right, let's talk cheesecake. Today, we are diving into one of the most beloved and, let's be honest, sometimes one of the most feared desserts out there. But with the legendary Martha Stewart as our guide, we're not just going to make a great cheesecake, we're going to solve its number one problem once and for all.
So picture this. You've spent all this time and money. You got the ingredients just right, you mix it all perfectly, you're watching it bake, but there's that one little fear in the back of your mind. That one thing that can just ruin that picture-perfect dessert. What's the one thing we're all terrified of?
Yep. The crack. That giant fissure right down the middle of your beautiful creation. It's the absolute worst, right? It's the bane of bakers everywhere. But what if I told you it's actually completely preventable?
And that brings us right here to the promise of a flawless cheesecake. See, we're not just aiming for something that tastes good, we're aiming for perfection.
And that right there, that's our mission, straight from Martha herself. An ultra-delicious New York Style cheesecake with a top that is as smooth as glass. This isn't just any recipe, this is the one.
So how do we actually get there? Well, it all starts with building that classic foundation. Because once you nail this New York cheesecake, you can literally make anything. The possibilities are endless.
Okay, first things first, the foundation. It all starts with 12 classic graham crackers. A little sugar, a pinch of salt, all pulsed up into fine crumbs. Then you mix in 6 tablespoons of melted butter to bring it all together. And here's a total game-changer tip from Martha. Use something with a flat bottom, like a meat pounder or even a measuring cup, to press those crumbs into the pan. This gives you a perfectly even, solid base. Give it a quick 15-minute bake, and it's all ready for that creamy filling. Okay, crust is done. Now for the filling. And listen, this is no time to be shy. We are starting with a whopping, get this, 56 ounces of cream cheese. Yep, you heard that right.
So, what does 56 ounces even mean? What does that look like when you're at the grocery store? It looks like this. 7 standard 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. This right here is what gives a real New York cheesecake its signature dense, rich, and oh so creamy texture.
And what holds all that creamy goodness together? 5 large eggs. It's this holy trinity of ingredients, the mountain of cream cheese, the sugar, the eggs, that makes this dessert just unbelievably decadent.
All right, so we've got this amazing rich batter, but we still have that one big problem looming, right? The crack. So what's the secret? What's the one technique that's going to guarantee that perfect glossy top every single time?
It all comes down to this, the bain-marie. You've probably heard it called a water bath. And look, this isn't just some fussy, fancy chef thing. It's absolutely crucial. The steam from the hot water basically turns your oven into a little steam room. That moisture allows the cheesecake to bake really gently and evenly, so the edges don't cook faster than the middle. That's what prevents cracking. So, the takeaway? Gentle, steamy heat is your best friend.
And setting it up is actually way easier than it sounds. First, just wrap your springform pan really well in 2 layers of foil. You want to make it totally waterproof. Then set that pan inside a bigger roasting pan. And finally, carefully pour boiling water into the big pan until it comes about halfway up the sides of your cheesecake pan. Think of this little setup as your crack-proof insurance policy. Seriously, it works.
Okay, so once you've got this master batter down, this is where the fun really begins. You won't believe how versatile this one recipe is.
This is so cool. Check this out. Using that exact same batter, you can make the classic 10-inch cake, you can make these cute little individual ones, or you can even make crustless cheesecake cupcakes. But notice the key differences here. The cupcakes don't have a crust, and, get this, no water bath needed. Why? Because they bake so fast, the top doesn't even have time to think about cracking. How easy is that? Now, a perfect cheesecake is amazing all by itself, but, the right topping, that just takes it over the top. And they really don't have to be complicated.
So let's look at 2 totally different but equally awesome options. For those little cupcakes, you can whip up a simple sour cream topping. It adds this wonderful, tangy, creamy vibe, and you just bake it on for the last 10 minutes. Then, for the individual cakes, you can make this gorgeous Bing cherry topping that's set with a little gelatin for a sweet, glossy, fruity pop. And speaking of that cherry topping, here's one of those little details from Martha that I just love. After you push the cherry puree through a strainer to get rid of the skins, all the best, most concentrated flavor is clinging to the underside of the strainer. That's the good stuff, so don't forget to scrape it off. It's a tiny step, but it makes all the difference. Okay, ready for a complete 180? Let's switch gears and talk about a totally different kind of cheesecake, the Italian-style ricotta cheesecake. This is for anyone who wants something a little different.
Yeah, these two are worlds apart. Instead of cream cheese, the star here is fresh ricotta cheese. That gives it a much lighter, more textured, almost rustic consistency. It's not dense and smooth like the New York style. It's also crustless, and you bake it with dry heat, so no water bath needed here at all.
So, the rules for a great ricotta cheesecake are super simple, but you can't skip them. First, you have to drain the ricotta for a few hours to get rid of all that extra water. It's beautifully flavored with lemon and orange zest, but listen, the most important step of all, you have got to be patient. This thing needs to chill in the fridge for a full 24 hours after it bakes. No cheating. That's when the magic happens and the flavor really develops.
And there you have it. From that iconic New York classic to all its little variations and then all the way over to that rustic Italian style, you are now officially armed with everything you need to make the perfect cheesecake every single time.
I mean, just look at this. How amazing is that? 4 completely different, gorgeous cheesecakes, and they all came from just a couple of core ideas. That classic New York one is absolutely stunning, perfectly smooth, and not a single crack in sight. So I think we have to let Martha ask the final question, right? Have I solved your problems about the crack in the top? And I think we can all agree, thanks to the magic of the Bain Mary, the answer is a huge yes. The crack? We're not afraid of it anymore.
So whether you're going to go for that super rich New York classic, the cute little cupcakes, or that zesty ricotta one, really the only question left is which one are you going to make first? Happy baking!